This is the explanation of how the car AC works. Cooling in vehicles comprises of a huge number with various capacities and approaches to working. In this manner, vehicle proprietors genuinely must find out about the variety of parts and how vehicle forced air systems work, as well as expanding information. Getting to know the parts and how vehicle climate control systems work can lead car muddy into be more worried about the lodge cooling highlight. Counting constant consideration for the climate control system to be more sturdy and keep away from harm. Taking into account that vehicle AC fix isn't modest, it is smarter to keep these elements from enduring. The parts in the air conditioner shift. The manner in which it works isn't quite so natural as envisioned. With the goal that you are not inquisitive, how about we check the accompanying brief clarification out? Parts and how car AC works. AC compressor, low pressure hose, high pressure hose, condenser, cooling fan or extra fan, dryer tube, development valve, evaporator, blower AC freon, vehicle AC maintenance. Switching off the AC properly. Tirelessly check and clean AC. Turning on the AC correctly. No smoking and opening glass. Parts and how car AC works. Whenever portrayed completely, there are in some measure in excess of 10 parts in a vehicle forced air system. These parts have various capacities in making the lodge cool to cold. AC compressor. The principal part that is very fundamental in a vehicle climate control system is the blower. His responsibility is to siphon freon with the goal that it can circle to all AC parts in the vehicle. Truth be told, the blower comes down on the freon so the atoms in the freon can become increasingly dense. Freon itself is a fluid that will transform into a gas when squeezed by the blower. The functioning blower is driven by a pivoting fan belt from the motor pulley. At the point when it pivots, there will be a shaft associated with the plate by a few mounts. This knock, while contacting the cylinder, will move to the front so it presses the freon out with high tension. At the point when the cam is confined from the cylinder, it will move and reverse again on the grounds that there is a spring responsible for bringing it back. This makes the freon squeezed from the low-strain hose to enter the cylinder. At the point when the temperature in the lodge is chilly, the blower will naturally remove the tension and begin again when the temperature begins to chill off. In a perfect world, a solid blower will work now and again as per the sensor. In the event that the blower is running continually, something is off with the vehicle's cooling framework. Low pressure hose. Moreover, there is a low-strain hose responsible for sending low-tension freon from the evaporator to get back to the blower. The measurement of this hose is little with an unmistakable dark tone and is watertight, in light of the fact that it just streams Freon at low tension. High-pressure hose. One more hose in the vehicle's AC part is high-strain. The high-strain hose sends fluid Freon at an extremely high tension. The shape is little and sealed. For the most part, this high-strain hose has a more modest breadth than the low-tension hose. Condenser. Notwithstanding the blower, there is a condenser whose occupation is like a radiator on a vehicle, to be specific, to deliver heat into the free air. The intensity being referred to comes from inside the Freon, which should be eliminated however much as could reasonably be expected. Typically, the condenser is introduced on the front or side of the radiator on the vehicle. The condenser has a part called a center, which is blade formed with conductive properties. The hot air in the Freon will be moved to this piece of the blades. To be more influence, the condenser is helped by a part called a cooling fan, so the temperature cools quicker. Cooling fan or extra fan. For the condenser to work all the more ideally, it is helped by a cooling fan. Cooling fan has two assignments immediately: cooling the radiator and cooling the condenser close to the radiator. At the point when the AC is turned on, the fan will blow air through the condenser with the goal that the temperature of the Freon in the condenser will be cooler. On the off chance that the cooling fan or additional fan is off, the AC parts won't work ideally. The subsequent temperature likewise cannot be cold. Dryer tube. This is an extra part. The manner in which it works is like an air channel. In any case, really the fundamental capacity of the dryer is to dry the Freon from water fume. Normally this part is as a cylinder with a glass opening to see the state of within the dryer. Inside the dryer, there are silica sand grains that can tie water fume when conveyed by the progression of the Freon. Development valve. Development valve or extension valve is additionally one of the significant parts in the vehicle climate control system. Its capacity is sufficient to switch fluid Freon into gas over completely to be splashed into the lodge. The manner in which it works is like a splash or fragrance. The Freon liquid in the valve has an exceptionally high tension due to being squeezed by the blower. At the point when the Freon weighs out to a lower pressure chamber at a high velocity, it will cool the temperature. This splash cycle is utilized to cool the Freon before it is placed into the evaporator. Evaporator. Subsequent to splashing, the Freon will enter the evaporator, whose principal work is to cool the air which will be circulated into the lodge. On a fundamental level, it works like a condenser, sending cold temperature Freon to the center that is leading balances like those in the condenser. This cool temperature will be sent uniformly to all pieces of the center blade, so that when air is breathed out through the balances in the evaporator, the temperature will be decreased.